What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Dimitri's Desk. This is episode 17th. Today is October 15th. And before we get started with this episode, I want to do some housekeeping stuff and give you guys a couple announcements. Last week I was traveling to New York, therefore I did not record a new episode, but going forward you should expect consistent episodes coming out every single Tuesday of the week. Now, second part is that I'm actually going to be switching to doing these episodes live. So now you can actually participate and ask questions about my charts, about trading, and so on. This way I can provide more value to you guys when it comes to TA. With that being said, here's what you should expect for today's episode. We're going to run through charts as always. We're going to look at BTC, EOS, ETH, IOST. We're going to take a look at where things are and where they might be heading. We're going to recap on some positions from the CME futures, see how those guys are positioned. Looks like a mixed day today in the market, so let's hop into the charts. All right, let's kick things off with BTC USD first on a daily chart. As you can see, the price is still below the 200-day moving average, and we have the 50-day moving average approaching the 200 here on a downside. So I've talked about this, and I also tweeted it out, where the price really needs to break above the 200 to show some price action appreciation possibility. As for now, it looks like price action was rejected multiple times on previous days. As you can see here, we tried to close above 200, but the sellers came in and brought the price down. Now, it's important to take a look. I've talked about this on a previous episode, where if the 50-day moving average does cross the 200-day moving average to the downside, then that's a big sign for a bearish momentum kicking in on a daily. We might see more downside or sideways action for BTC USD. As far as it goes right now, it looks like 50-day moving average is getting very close to 200 moving average. And what I'm expecting to see is that buyers are going to come in and hold the 50-day moving average above the 200. If we can get that and a close above the 200-day moving average as far as this price action goes, then that would be a very good sign for a potential reversal to the upside for BTC USD. As far as it looks like right now, we are getting quite a bit of chop here. So we are moving sideways, and it looks like a bit of a flag formation. So we have to be very careful when we're taking longer term positions, meaning that, next month or a month and a half type of position, like a trend move. We have to be careful and realize that we need to wait for the price action to develop to show us a signal for a buy or sell, because we're at this very significant inflection point when it comes to price action. Looking at the RSI, looks like we bounced off that oversold. It came up here a little bit, nothing too significant here, but I'll be watching this very closely as the 50 gets to 200 and see how the price action behaves itself, and see if there's going to be enough buyers to hold that 50 above 200, which will signify that bullish momentum to the upside. IOST USD looks like we're still struggling with that 0.5 mark that I've discussed multiple times on this episode before. As you can see, we are actually resisting at the moment on a daily, and we're down at 0.4684, and it really doesn't signify a potential move to the upside at the moment the way it looks. Obviously, we have 50 below the 200, which is not good on a daily. Overall, the momentum is not suggesting potential upside for IOST USD in the near term. We would have to have a breakout above the 0.5 mark that we have here, a solid close above it, and some green candles that are going to bring us up above the 50-day moving average to show momentum to the upside. As far as it looks like right now, it looks like we're still struggling to develop to the upside for IOST. ETH USD, we have interesting development here. As you can see, the price action went up as almost to 200, but we got rejected there as well. And like I mentioned on previous episodes, ETH really needs to be above 200 to signify some type of uptrend reversal. The way it looks like right now, we do have 50 below the 200 moving day average, and we have this flag formation. If you drop this to a lower time frame, you'll see this You'll see this clearly as we looks like starting to break down to lower levels. Now, if we break down from this side, I'll be looking forward to seeing 160, 155 levels as the price action develops for ETH USD, because we have that flag formation and we have the averages confirming downward momentum for ETH USD. So the way it looks like right now, we are getting a little bit of a choppy price action, just like on other coins. But like I mentioned last time, actually, I was looking forward to taking some short positions. If you did catch that episode, you might have picked up some percentage points to the downside as this flag formation was being developed. So again, this is not looking too good for ETHUSD. It looks like we're flagging here and we might see more downside. EOS USD is looking very similar to ETH right now. It looks like we have that choppy flag formation here. If you drop that down to 4 hour as well, you'll see it. It looks like we broke down to it. This was actually the cleanest flag that I've seen, and this really warranted a beautiful short position if you did play it, if you did catch that run up and pick some entries at like 330 with your stops above the 50-day moving average. Looks like it's being rejected by that. So we have the 50 below the 200, which again signifies a selling pressure for EOS USD. And like I mentioned, similar to ETH, I'm looking forward to see EOS USD above $5 for me to really start piquing my interest in terms of picking it up to the long side. Right now, it looks like the momentum is definitely to the downside, and we might have to see how low it's going to go based on just the risk-reward ratio for those that are looking to trade the trend. You have to be very careful because the downside might be limited compared to the upside. So the risk-reward ratio might not necessarily make sense. But if you're scalping, getting in and out, maybe on a daily basis, you can pick around as this flag formation, bearish flag formation, breaks down to lower levels like 250. So the way it looks like, again, for EOS USD, downward pressure is there. I'm looking forward to see the price to go lower. Also, if you take a look at the Ichimoku indicator, which is also known as one glance, I've covered it before on previous episodes. You can see the development here on a daily here for EOS USD. So basically, the way this indicator works, you want to look for green clouds and red clouds, right? As you can see here. So when the price action actually gets closer to the red cloud, you want to be looking for sell positions. Similar to the green clouds, where you see the price action actually penetrating the green cloud, and you want to start picking your entries to the long side. As you can see here, we have a pretty significant momentum to the downside, and we're getting quite a bit of resistance and price action playing out to the downside. So Ichimoku itself is saying that this is not good for EOS USD. We might see potential price movement to the downside further. All right, and before we jump into CME futures, let's quickly take a look at BTC dominance and total crypto market cap. We haven't looked at it in some time, and looks like we have something interesting developing where we have the total market cap in blue, and then we have BTC dominance in this orange color. As you can see here, since it's been 3 weeks since we had the total market cap kind of moving higher, and then we had the total or BTC dominance actually going down. So this is kind of the inverse relationship that we like to observe to see if there's a potential for some type of reversal out of BTC into alts, and signify some type of alt season when it comes to prices going up. So again, this is not something that's signifying right now that this is in fact a signal for alt season 2 that's going to happen right now, but we definitely want to observe and see how this develops. This is on a daily. We can see that the BTC dominance is going down while the total crypto market cap is going higher. So we're going to continue to watch that as it develops. As of now, this is not something that's very actionable right this moment, but you have to keep this in mind as you're picking your positions, especially if you want to pick up more alts as these prices start developing, maybe to the downside where it's cheaper for you to pick up a long-term positions. All right, let's hop into CME futures. Now, here's what we're looking at here. A COT report, commitment of traders. We've covered this again on previous episodes, and I specifically look at dealers, which is the sell side, the guys who take the other side of your trades, basically when you're buying or selling these futures. Now these guys obviously can keep their books cleared by offsetting their positions with other traders and overall have no exposure in the market. As you can see here, on 8-6 they were flat basically, but when they see an opportunity in the market, they definitely want to take advantage of that. And you can see the red bars indicating their overall short positions are heavy, where they hold a position short in the market, and then blue bars where basically it shows that they hold a long position in the market. And as you can see, we have actually interesting development here where these guys, they were short for quite a bit, and I've covered this multiple times on previous episodes, and they actually closed out of their short position after the 924 and start building out a significant long position. If you take a look actually on the charts, here's where they actually closed their shorts after that big dump that we had that I covered as well. It was about 14-15%, right? So now these guys are actually starting to switch to build out long positions, and I've talked about this where it's actually a great opportunity for them to start picking up BTC USD at lower prices, because these guys typically hold positions for quite a bit of time. As you can see on this chart, they've held short positions since 8/13. And they finally closed it on, after 9/24. So they hold it for quite a bit, and you got to keep that in mind as they build out their long positions. There is a possibility, most likely you'll see some drawdown where they'll have to wait until the price for BTC USD is going to reverse to the upside. So it is a possibility we can actually drop down to around 7,000 for BTC before we start bouncing back up. So these guys are okay with it. They can float, anywhere between like 5 to 15% of losses before the actual reversal happens to BTC USD. So you have to keep that in mind. These guys are institutional players that built out their positions throughout the time for a longer time frame play as far as the trading goes. So again, they're building out their long positions here, as you can see by these bars. And actually, if you take a look at the volumes for CME and overall futures for BTC, they have been picking up in volume. So that's a pretty good sign. And we're going to keep track of these players to see how they continue to essentially perform in this market, because they have been pretty good at calling their positions when it came to the short that we've discussed last time, and we'll see how they're going to do on this long positioning going forward. That's about it for today's episode, guys. I'm excited for the next episode where we're going to do this live to interact with you guys. As always, write any type of comments you guys have about the information you received and smash that like button. And as always, happy trading.